Willy Woo just dropped a bombshell that could change how you think about Bitcoin forever, especially in the long term. This isn't a bull run, it's a slow motion global takeover, according to Woo. Today, we're diving into Willy Woo's latest macro take on Bitcoin, from spot ETFs to sovereign accumulation, and why the next wave won't look anything like 2017 or 2021. We're going to break down Woo's most explosive insights and, of course, dropping our 2 Satoshis along the way, so stay tuned.
Bitcoin is booming. Are you cashing in or missing out? At Drip2BTC, we're rewriting the rules of Bitcoin investing. Earn up to 30% ROI on your deposits, unlock incredible Bitcoin discounts, and transform credit into up to 3,000% APR growth. No hassle, just real results. Don't wait, your future is one deposit away. Drip2BTC.com. Invest smart today.
Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. So if you're not familiar with Willy Woo, he is basically a old OG got into pretty much investing in the 2008 financial crisis and getting into gold. And then in 2013, he was introduced into Bitcoin and was stacking when Bitcoin crashed from 1,000 around 300. And he's pretty much made his claim to fame of doing on-chain analysis and being a kind of quant guy with the analysis in Bitcoin and stacking sats along the way and sharing his insights on Twitter. So I think I've done some clips by him before, but not too many. But in this one, it's what I alluded to in other videos, where you got to understand the fundamental shift, and then also the mistake that I made where we hear about these regulations and administrations making positive change for Bitcoin, nation state adoption, major businesses like MicroStrategy and Meta and Meta Planet, sorry, not Meta, and GameStop, all this stuff. We're like, oh man, this is insane. Bitcoin's going to the moon. Well, Willy Woo in this video explains how these things take time. So it's still bullish, but it just may draw out longer than expected. And like I said in the intro, why the 2017-2021 cycle may not look anything like what we've seen before.
I would also say most people have exposure without even knowing it, because they own the S&P 500, which includes Tesla, which owns Bitcoin, and more of that's going to happen. Like, they don't even know there's a citizen of country and the country owns Bitcoin. That's just everywhere, even if they haven't bought.
So that first clip was about Woo kind of reframing how, as he said, most people don't even know that they have Bitcoin in their portfolio or exposure to Bitcoin due to the country owning it, or they own stock, S&P 500, Tesla owns it, pension funds, ETFs, all this other stuff. So the point is that Bitcoin is no longer just for the retail early individuals that understand Bitcoin from a fundamental, it's truth and freedom money. It's now literally seeping its way into all sorts of traditional financial vehicles. And when you talk about national reserves and pension funds and ETFs and strategic reserves, all this stuff, and even settling trade, I think with China and China and Russia, it's already there. Like, it has penetrated every part of the market. And then there are, of course, places like, El Salvador and somewhere over in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, that, you can transact and buy in Bitcoin. And then Steak and Shake just made a post about accepting Bitcoin. So it is slowly becoming more mainstream, and people, you might bump into on streets would understand it. So that's already a major catalyst to say that this cycle is different than other cycles. Like, there's way more macro global adoption. And of course, that's related to Metcalfe's law, the adoption curve, and things going exponential. But this is just to give you an idea and some context. Let's go to the next clip, where Woo is talking about how Bitcoin is kind of akin to tech stocks, and more specifically Amazon, and how this will continue to grow and take some time, though, to get there.
It's going to take time. So I'm with you on that sort of steady, like the picture you paint with Amazon stock, with the opportunities. It's going to be like that. It's not going to be this reflexive boom up, like this exponential curve that you saw in 2017. Yeah, it's different nowadays. So yeah, that's how I see it. How underlying structure-wise, that's how I see it. And also we're very highly correlated to macro. We're another macro asset. Bitcoin is just another macro asset these days. I don't disagree that the floodgates are opening, but it's not a floodgate of fast-moving dam water, right? It's floodgates of a slow-moving glacier, right? It's like it takes time, right? Do you know it's taken 4 years for MicroStrategy to actually gear up and really buy Bitcoin? 4 years, right?
What do you mean by that?
Like you look at their balance sheet, how much Bitcoin did they really stack? It's all been in the last year. Right. First thing he's got to do is he's got to convince the board. That was before they even bought their first Bitcoin, right? And then they needed to inform their shareholders that provided a way in which the shareholders that were against it, that they can sell their shares. By the way, this is because Michael Saylor owns by far the vast majority of MicroStrategy stock. It's a little bit like Musk, where he controls so much of the company, what he says he can leverage. Even that took 4 years for them to really gear up and buy Bitcoin. If you look at the US government's strategic reserve, probably take 80 months. 6 months if miracles happen, it'd take 80 months. And you look at a publicly traded company that is not like Elon Musk or Michael Saylor, where there's a founder with massive control. The board can't buy. They can buy a little bit, like a little test, fraction of a percentage point that won't change the day-to-day operations of the company. Do a bit of this. Eventually, they have to take it to a full vote of all shareholders, and even then, there's massive stuff you have to do to get the company in line where they can start to bring it on board. That it takes years, as MicroStrategy has shown you. So when you think about a nation state adopting it, it's going to take time, right? Like we talked about institutions accompanying the spot ETFs come in. And they thought they were going to pile in. No, it'll take 6 months to years before the operational due diligence of these very large institutions, mutual funds, have completed the full due diligence of all the underlying custody and how the ETF works and so forth. It takes time before. And so when was the ETF?
And that is the huge shift that I think many in crypto, and even myself included, until hearing it from Woo and then show, what it takes, is that we haven't fully processed. Bitcoin has matured, and it trades as another $1 trillion macro asset. It is now a $2 trillion asset. And here he is explaining it's 1.86, but Bitcoin now saying anytime it's over 100K, it's a $2 trillion asset at this stage now. So that means it takes large amounts of capital to move the market. It's not like a few normies can pump it. And we can see that it can swing one way or the other with some OTC sells or buys. So instead of seeing 10x overnight moves like you see in a meme coin, it's going to take major companies, nations and stuff to adopt Bitcoin like this, but it'll be this slow kind of attrition, as he mentioned, kind of like more like Amazon. So Amazon kicked off in 1997. And then over time, it's accrued significant amounts of value, $227 versus, $2, sitting way down here over an almost 30-year time frame. And the other thing that again really drove this home for me is him comparing this to MicroStrategy, aka now Strategy, and how long it took them to really accrue the amount of Bitcoin that they have, and the fact that, remember, this was predominantly controlled by one person. It was controlled by Saylor before he stepped down. So he had pretty much kind of the freedom to act to do this much faster than, say, a Microsoft or a Nvidia or Google or Amazon. Maybe Bezos is sitting in that, I'm not sure. But the point is, those bigger companies have more red tape. They're going to move slower. And then I was just looking at this during the review of that video with Willy Woo. And if you come here to, what is this? So yeah, perfect. I can't move the mouse up there because it goes off. But if you read that, it says MicroStrategy has acquired 3,000 BTC. MicroStrategy now has 193,000 Bitcoin. And this is as of February 26, 2024. So they had 193. And we move into April. And then I think they just broke 200K. Where are they at with 200K? 214,000. Might be here. Doesn't say yet. One of these. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is that just over a year ago, they had 200K. And as of now, they've doubled that, 2.5x that. They're sitting at 550K, 568K. So in 1 year, they doubled the amount of Bitcoin they are holding, 2.5x to be more accurate, almost 2.25. And it took them from September 20th all the way till April of 2024, March 2024. So 3.5 years to get the first initial 200K. So that's why he's saying, Willy Woo was stating that it took 4 years for MicroStrategy to do all this. So if you divide the 200K over 3 years, you know, that's them only buying, we'll call it 70K a year. It's actually less than that because it's 3.5 years. So closer to like 50K a year for the first 3.5 years. And then all of a sudden now they purchased 225 additional K in 15 months. So that is insane to see. And the point is to show you that if it takes a company like this, a small company originally at this size, to move like this, how much longer is it going to take for nation states and stuff like that to get things done, and other bigger companies? So that's why he's saying, yeah, it's still coming. We're going to see this massive $1 trillion Bitcoin price at some stage. That's according to Plan B. 100 trillion is his Bitcoin market cap price. But I think that's Bitcoin at $1 billion by that time. Whatever, I'm not sure. But the point is, it's not going to happen overnight. So we're not going to see a 10x in 3 months. We're not going to see even a 5x probably in the next year, you know? So it's something that you can have a much longer time horizon on and just continue to stay humble and stack sats because you're seeing the groundwork. So that's what to me is so bullish about this. It's like, oh, we're still early. Again, seeing how long it took MicroStrategy to accumulate, and then now seeing the framework for all these nation states, you can still front run them. Yeah, Bitcoin sitting at 100K and some change, but you still have the opportunity to get ahead of the billions of dollars of capital that will be coming in on a more routine basis as we zoom out maybe 2 years to 5 years down the line. You know, according to Raoul Powell, it'll be 2030 is when finance investing will take a completely different turn and it won't even look familiar anymore. So you still can front run, and maybe 2030 is when this kind of nation state stuff is much more transparent. So take the opportunities. Do not get caught on the sidelines. That's the one and not financial advice I can say. And that's all I got. So smash that HBO special, help a brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.